19. Last time, the Honorbound found themselves in a sticky situation. The majority of the fort believed that there was artillery hidden in the woods, so the commander sent troops out to look. Thinking quickly, after a brief confrontation, Klobar cast suggestion on the warmonger of the camp, waiting for a tense moment. They realized that the spell had landed successfully. Klobar then suggested that the warmonger tell his men to stand down and follow the group out of the camp a ways, so that they could talk and possibly negotiate. Having led Warmonger Trecklin out of the camp for a bit, they spoke briefly, and then proceeded to jump him and tie him up. That point is when the Warmonger realized that he had been tricked with magic. They seem to have been followed briefly by one of the Bat Riders, and after Siga's Earthbind spell dissipated, it made its way back to the Orc Fort, seemingly to inform the second in command. Klobar convinced the group, even though that there were some concerns, to take the Warmonger to Ubask, the home of the nearly shattered Hobgoblin Empire. As they traveled, they learned some valuable information, and Flint saw no Bat Riders tailing them, for the time being. They made their camp, taking some time to speak with each other and their prisoner. We left off with Kakira voicing her concerns to Siga about his recent dreams, and Klobar volunteering to take the first watch. So, Klobar, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Alrighty. That is an 11.
Awesome. So, looking around, there is not much of note on your watch. Is there anything you would like to do while you are awake?
Let me think. If I use my arcane recovery now, can I get a spell back, and then after the long rest, I'll have it back?
Yeah. This is enough time to do arcane recovery.
I'm going to do my arcane recovery.
Sorry for all the dice falling. Okay.
That's a lot of enemies.
So
There's a lot of dice.
I have 2 fireballs at my disposal.
Excellent. Oh, good. Well, good. We can take out all those enemies.
All right. Who are you going to wake up then next?
Klobar is going to wake up Marsica.
Okay.
And Klobar is going to say, I know that you have concerns. Please know that I would not have done what I did if I did not value all of your lives.
Marsica will just kind of nod and she'll say, I know. And she'll get up and do her watch.
All right. So, go ahead and make me a perception check.
14.
Okay.
No, sorry. I thought it was a different number. 7, not plus 5. I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry, add 2. 16.
That's okay. 16 total?
Yes.
Seems like it's good. Is there anything you'd like to do on your watch?
I don't think so.
Okay. Who are you waking up next?
Siga.
All right. Anything you guys would like to say to each other? Or just move on to the perception check?
Nothing.
I was gonna say, I think I'll just ask if there's anything eventful.
I'll just tell her it's a chill night and then go to bed.
After 4 hours, nothing. Go ahead and make me a
Alright.
perception check, Siga.
15.
15. About 3/4 of the way through your watch, there is nothing of interest, but off in the distance, yet again, you see just lights coming in and out.
Okay. I'll just kind of keep a closer watch on them then. Do I
Okay.
see, or could I see anything out in the distance, or does it like look just like those things?
Your perception check was 15?
Fair enough.
No, I was asking.
Oh,
Not trying to be sassy, sorry. Your perception check was 15?
yeah, because it was 15.
That's all you get.
Yeah.
I was
All right.
like, oh, my bad.
No, it's all good.
Get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit.
So, off in the distance, that's all you really see. Just those lights coming in and out for about 10 minutes, and then they dissipate for the last 5-10 minutes of your watch.
Okay.
So, who are you waking up next?
Akira.
Kakira.
Kira.
Anything you guys would like to say
the
to each
only
other?
way I'm gonna hear her name now. Akira.
Yeah.
Yes. Kakira, if there's nothing you would like to say, go ahead and make me a perception check looking around.
Alright. Let's try that again. In the dice tray this time. It's gonna be a good night. 6?
6? Yeah, you're not really seeing anything. You're a little enamored.
Oh wait,
with
I
these
get to roll with advantage. Sorry,
Okay, yep.
I totally
the
forgot
magical
about
item.
that. 11.
11. You're still pretty
Better.
enamored with
Of course, I'm probably
how
not the best judge of character with that right now.
how enamored these goggles are. You're like, man, I can see so many things, and you're just like really caught on looking at this leaf for a little bit. But
Perfect.
about right.
other than that, not much on your watch. So we'll say for the rest of the night, the watches go by relatively. They go by fine. There's nothing of interest that happens from that point on. As you're getting closer to dawn, your captive is rousing a bit and is just making noise. So, what is everybody doing as you wake?
How
No
noisy is
record.
the captive being?
Just grumbling. He's not like being super noisy, but you know, as noisy as an orc captive would be that's upset about being captured and being tricked with magic.
Klobar is going to walk up to him and cast sleep on him.
Go ahead and roll your hit dice.
All right. Find the freaking things. All right. So I think that should roll him any second now. Oh, no, I have to roll them myself. Never mind.
Nice.
17. That's how many hit points. Like if he has that many hit points, he falls asleep, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
definitely still awake. And he kind of like droops his eyes a little bit and then just glares at you after you cast that spell on him.
Um,
Have you looked in the drawer, like to the left of the? I
uh,
don't fucking know. I
Klobar
don't fucking know.
says to the group, before we move forward today, there are a few things that you should know before we head to Ubask. Someone leave?
Oh,
Yeah, Michael's gone.
Mike left.
uh-oh. There
Oh,
goes
he's pretty
there
bad.
goes his
He said
internet.
He said his Discord froze. Oh,
Oh,
there he
okay,
is.
cool.
Oh.
And he's back.
Sarah, was that you?
Klobar says, you will be able to enter the capital because I am a citizen of Zal. However, what you need to know is that the laws are very strict. If you are to steal, you will lose a hand. Honor is an important value. So while we're within the capital, your behavior must be unimpeachable.
Understood.
When we meet the council, do your best to avoid speaking out of turn. If they speak to you, address them as counselor.
Write this down because David's gonna forget.
Do you have any questions?
Do I need to kneel or bow to anyone?
It is customary when meeting the council to bow.
Okay. Is there any other like weird tradition that I should know of before walking in here and making a fool of myself?
Klober says, no, just avoid lying, avoid stealing. Just
Like, is shaking hands agreeable, or is that not a good thing?
Aaron, is shaking hands agreeable?
I mean, the equivalent of, yes. Like, and you can show that gesture.
Okay, so I'm assuming they do the
Immediately
the
go in.
arm grab thing where they you grab each other's elbows.
Thank you.
So Klober would show you how to do that.
Okay.
Elbow grab.
You never shake someone's hand like that?
Klo-
Would it be possible? This is totally meta, but would it be possible for Calvio to prepare Misty Step from Clovar's book?
Only if you had Clobar. Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question.
Like, if I looked at Clovar's book, could I prepare Misty Step? Because I'm assuming Calvio knows how to read his book, because we've already done this.
Unless Clobar has it in some sort of cipher and is super careful about that.
Klober only has one spell in a cipher.
I would say
That's Fireball.
I would say if Clobar allows you to take that time, it would just take some time away from it. Yes,
This isn't
short
something
answer.
I can do while walking.
Yeah, no.
Shit.
Short answer, yes. You take a little bit more time in the morning, and long answer, let me look that up and figure it out.
Okay,
'Cause that's a
it'll
really
be
good-
Okay. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I just won't, because I want to learn that spell anyway. I'll just let it go. That's
Yeah.
fine.
But you can theoretically, like, if you have the components, you can learn each other's spells, too.
But Klobar says it's very likely that we will have an escort remaining with us until the rest of you prove yourselves honorable in the eyes of the council.
That's fair.
Well,
So, shall we?
Logan,
Let's
check your
show.
Facebook message, by the way, too.
Oh, yep.
Michael
gonna
froze again.
ask,
Okay.
Klobar would also say, if they are not willing to help us, I believe that they have Wyvern riders. Perhaps we could get them to drop us off at the hamlet.
That'd be nice.
What was Siga going to ask? As you take a bite of food.
Yeah. No, it's good. Siga's not gonna actually ask that.
Okay, sure. So, how are you transporting your prisoner?
I'm casting as a ritual Tinser's floating disc, or just floating disc in this world. And then I'm gonna recast it every
Couple hours.
hour.
Every hour. Okay.
And he's
So
just gonna float his ass behind me.
well, there goes Mike. Yep, he probably lost internet connection. Oh well. He will come back and we can update him. Cool. Siga, on your watch also, you would have noticed a shooting star. I forgot to tell you that. So, heading back down here. What is the order that you guys are traversing throughout the day?
Klobar's going first, just in case we run into any hobgoblins.
Okay.
Alvio is behind the orc.
Excellent. And he's back. Maybe. So, moving on forward. What was our order again?
Klobar up front.
Klobar up front.
Alvio is behind the orc.
There was something you guys said that you were going to do when you woke up today. You guys said it last session. If you don't remember, I don't have a
Akira was
problem.
going to send a message to.
Yeah, to Gorlin, or not Gorlin, Hoarding's Hamlet.
Hoarding's Hamlet.
That one.
Right.
Yeah.
But you also said you were going to send a message to what's his face in the morning.
Oh, right. Did I write that down? No, but somebody did. It's written in here somewhere.
The military commander, is that who you're looking for?
Yeah, I see it. It's in the chat. Yeah, I guess I was going to respond to both of them.
So who are you sending the first message to?
Hoarding, I guess.
Hamlet.
Ordine.
Ordine.
Okay.
What do we want to say? We're sending help or some? I can't remember.
You have 25 words. Are you going to try and tell them to leave, or are you going to tell them to wait for the soldiers?
Wait for the soldiers.
Wait for the soldiers.
I think that's the best way. I think.
Is that all we need?
Help is on the way from Endora. Wait for them. Leave as soon as possible.
It's up to you. Whatever you're telling them.
I don't know. Something like that.
Are you typing it up to make sure it's 25 words?
Yes.
Using that wrinkly brain.
That's right.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Help is coming from Andorra. Wait for the soldiers to help you out. Or help you evacuate.
What are you saying?
Soldiers. Yeah, that's fine.
If you can type it in the Discord, in the Roll20 chat, that would be great. Oh, see, that's what you're doing.
I am.
Heck yeah.
Anything else? Help is coming from Andorra.
Wait. What else you're supposed to say? Help is coming from Andorra. Wait for them. Danger coming. Leave as soon as possible. Or is
You
that, like,
know,
is that-
you know that the orcs want that fort. So if you whether or not you give them that information is up to you.
I don't think that's pertinent.
Okay.
Do you think that's pertinent?
No.
It's pertinent to the soldiers. I don't think it's pertinent to the villagers.
Because we want them to not die.
Yeah, I don't want them to panic and be like, ah! And then run because they think they're going to get slaughtered. I want them to wait because the safest place for them is behind the wards we left.
I was just thinking
Right.
for urgencies to like get them to go.
Just we could say danger incoming.
I said danger. So I said help is coming from Andorra. Wait for the soldiers to help you evacuate. Danger is coming. Leave as soon as possible. I have 5 words left. So, which
You
is
can-
just
I have 5
that
words
is
left.
that-
No, we don't.
that's just enough for respond in 25 words.
I mean,
Responded, yes, respond in 25 words. Yeah, I think that's good. Do that. That's my vote. This is a democracy, though.
I love how every one of my messages is just gonna end with respond in 25 words. So I only get 20 words.
Okay, that's fine.
basically.
You can respond to this message.
I think they know they can respond. I think that's
I mean,
part of
you
the
said
spell.
respond in 25 words.
Yeah. Okay. That.
All right. Help is
And
coming
that's
from
to-
Andorra.
That's the
Wait for
Horadine.
soldiers. Okay, that's the Horadine.
Man, this 25 words thing. Such a pain.
It really is
Maybe-
it's
Maybe we
a
can
great.
get a research power, and I can research a way to increase it to 30.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh. Then we get 25 plus the respond in 25 words.
Exactly. So then it's basically a message.
Yeah.
That's reasonable, right, Aaron?
What? Sorry.
It's okay. We're just fucking with you anyway.
He says, responding, saying, "What? Wait, what is this? What do you mean that danger's coming? I guess we'll stay put and wait.
Does count as
Should
a word?
we keep a look?" And then it stops.
Yeah, Horadine.
I know what you guys expected.
I don't either.
He's not a very
This is like
smart old
giving your
man.
grandpa an iPad.
What's this newfangled thing?
Hate this dude.
I love it.
Gone.
I mean, he used like 7 of the words for, huh? What? What's
Yep.
going on? What is this?
Basically, he's an old man. All right, cool. What's the next one you're sending?
And then we're gonna send another one to
The military dude. Fucker.
military dude, and he was asking for any more information. Are the commanders dead? Can we get to Horadines and can we get the civilians out? That's a lot of questions.
No. Yes.
You said no, yes. That's it.
That's it.
You can respond to 25 words. Terrible. So did we tell them that they were after the fort? Or
Yeah,
that
we
the-
did.
Did we tell them the civilians were in the fort? I think that's
Yes, we did tell
Yes.
them that.
Aaron, did we tell them the civilians were in the fort?
I believe so.
We
Okay.
said
I
they need
thought you did.
reinforcements. We said the captured orc commander, force of 200 plus, heading towards Horadine's hamlet, includes ogres and demon orcs, need reinforcements.
And then the second message was civilians in Fort Zaris respond in
Oh,
25
yeah.
words or less. What was the last thing you said? I will respond in the morning.
Yep.
Um,
So I think that's all covered.
Okay. so are
All right.
we? Okay, so
All are alive. I have no idea if we're gonna be able to get to Hordines.
I genuinely feel like we should probably say something about trying to find hobgoblin help. Otherwise, they're just gonna show up, and there's gonna be a big fight between hobgoblins, Andorra, and orcs. How do we word this without straight up saying?
I was just gonna straight up say it.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to.
Oh, did you see what Logan's put in the chat?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the restroom real quick.
Do not shoot the hobgoblins. Put that at the end.
I think we have more. Okay, so
Yeah, 15 more words, so 10 basically.
I said all are alive, cannot get to Hamlet in time. Petitioning Ubask for aid. Hobgoblins are friends.
Fish are friends, not food.
Exactly.
Hobgoblins are friends, not enemies.
Sure. Let's do that. I'd rather lie to Andorra than the hobgoblins at this point. Not that I really want to lie to anyone, but if I had to, I'd rather it be Andorra than the hobgoblins.
15. Oh, I misspelled friends. Fine.
Irons?
I yeah, Fearens. I have more words. I have like 7 more words.
What else would you say? You don't have to use all of the words. You can just send what you
I know,
want.
but I could say
Can you
like
type
I
in
can't
what it is already,
respond.
so I can look at
Respond
it.
in 25 words or less. At least you
Can you
two.
type?
Because I won't be able.
Already?
Yeah, I won't be able to respond. Because I'm using both of my 3rd level spells. For
This
this.
is a 3rd level spell? Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
They might take hobgoblins or friends offensively. Maybe instead of hobgoblins or friends,
Allies?
Klobar believes hobgoblins will
help.
Will
Can
assist.
Okay, hobgoblins will assist. Sure. Do this.
Or you could say hobgoblins will flank from the northeast.
From the south.
What if they don't?
Because we don't want
the
them to
south.
we don't want them to attack the hobgoblin.
You guys would be, unless you take a wide berth, it would be faster to come from the south than the north.
Wait, I don't
Andorra's
understand.
well, Andorra is definitely coming from the north.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so Ubask is here,
Yeah.
and the troops are moving through here, so we would be ambushing them from the northwest.
Southwest.
The troops, they would be in the
Am
northwest.
I looking at the map backwards?
No, you're
No, this is
saying that
this is southwest of Hordines.
Yeah, I meant.
You're saying the enemies
attack
are going
would be
to be
coming
in
from the northwest.
No, the enemies are in the northwest, so your attack is coming from the southeast.
What?
Unless you want to come from the other side and come from or the southwest, unless you want your attack to come from the top.
Okay, so they're here.
Do we need to tell them that?
We're gonna attack from this way. Andora's gonna attack from this way.
Is that what you're trying to say, Logan?
Is that what you're trying to say?
Because I don't want to even let them get close to the hamlet if the hold on.
Can you
If the
see my draw
hobgoblin
stuff?
troops pass through here and cut through the woods, they can flank them as they come through here.
So you're trying to catch the orcs as they come up through this way.
Well,
And
isn't
so
the hobgoblin
that's-
fort or the orc fort like
Ah,
right here?
I'm with you.
No, hold on.
It's the
big
X.
X. The big X is where the
It's
fort
right
is.
here.
Oh, okay.
I'm
But
with you. I
Anyway,
understand what
that
you're
doesn't
saying now.
change
Yep.
my thought process. Is that because as their commander said, they weren't expecting hobgoblins. So
Mhm.
if the hobgoblins come through this pass here through the woods and catch them as they're marching towards Hordine's hamlet, it'll catch them off guard because they're not expecting an attack from the rear flank.
I'm with you now.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're in reference to the base, not Horadines. That was what the confusion was. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah.
you. Yep. Okay. I'm
Cool.
with you. Yep.
So,
Can you clear all the drawings, Aaron?
I could just say don't
yes.
fight the hobgoblins.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Don't fight the hobgoblins.
Instead of hobgoblins are friends.
I'm worried about the repercussions of the hobgoblins saying no if we fuck this up.
Well, if we don't tell them that the hobgoblins are gonna, like,
Well, we're just
Like,
making
we're-
it sound
we're-
like
we're asking for their help, and then we're saying, don't attack them, because they're not bad. Like, we're asking for their help,
Fair.
don't attack
Let's do
them.
it.
So whatever
Yeah, let's do it.
happens,
regardless. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I'm with you.
Does Flinch or
Uh,
Sega have anything to say with this stuff going on? Or Marsica, for that matter? No? Okay.
so
At
the
this
asterisk
point-
is
Marsica's just, I mean, she's letting our mastermind do his thing and trusting and hoping for the best.
Fair enough.
the asterisk is just changing the last sentence that I'd written.
Okay. Cool. So go ahead and say the spell. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
So it's all are alive, cannot get to Hamlet in time.
Who are you sending it to?
Ubas, whoever the commander is, I can't remember what his name was.
Commander Frowlin.
Yeah, that guy. And then petitioning Ubask for aid, don't fight the hobgoblins.
It is good to know that all the citizens are alive. That is a risky business. We don't have good relations. I will get troops. And that's what he says.
That's fair. That's better than what I expected, honestly.
It's been
That's
10
actually
years since they've
reasonable.
really even seen each other, so there might be a little bit of cooling on some things.
That's fair.
It's like that ex you haven't seen in 10 years and run into in the coffee shop.
What's that like?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
hi.
no.
How
Yeah.
are you doing?
Bad. So, the rest of the evening the rest of the day goes by uneventfully. You guys manage to cross deeper into the forest, and it's kind of slow going because there's no direct roads in here. But Clobar, as you see one of the tributaries leading into the Fragon River, you know that you are now at the edge of what is considered Hobgoblin land as night begins to fall. So, boop-a-da-boop-a-da-boo. You now have all made camp. Is there anything else you'd like to say or do? Talking?
Klobar would say, would you all like to know how I lost my arm?
Sure.
So story time.
Sitting around the
He crosses
campfire.
his legs and sits and says, I was part of a hobgoblin war band. This was a long time ago. 15, 20 years ago. And he says, we did battle. And one of the soldiers in my battalion, you've already met, Loban, who we met outside the ruins. Loban was not there that day, that very fateful day, but our battle turned outside of our favor, and so I called for us to retreat. As I was doing so, one of the enemy slashed my arm off. I fell to the ground. My colleagues, I can't even call them my comrades anymore, they felt anger that I had been looked upon favorably by the elders, and so they decided to leave me to die. It was my master that found me after all of those days starving in the wilderness and nursed me back to health and taught me the arcane arts. I've not been home since that day, but just know that I know all of you must have feelings about the Hobgoblin Empire, but there are some genuinely honorable hobgoblins. But if you run into Morgon, Kazkor, Morgoth, or Zoran, they're scum.
Quite a story. Did not realize you were such a martial warrior in your past.
Klobar says that was a long time ago. Age has brought me wisdom. I understand now that battles are fought, won, and lost. But honor transcends time, and what my brothers in arms did was not honorable. And I feel very strongly, and this was at the back of my mind when I made that decision back at the fort, that I would never leave behind a comrade. I would never let my comrades die on my watch.
I think I
You're
could
muted.
speak for
Flint, you're muted.
just about anyone here when we would never leave you behind, Klobar.
I appreciate that. You're an honorable lot, and in time, I believe that the Empire of Zal will recognize that, as I have about you, the Honorbound.
Flint have something to say? No? Okay.
Since we're sharing stories, Aldra's gonna fly around my head and then fly over to Siga and fly around her head, then sit on her head. And like do the little like boop thing and then like nestle up and like kind of lay down like on her head.
His head?
His head. God damn it. Look, it's been a long day, okay? His head. And Calvio will look to Siga and say, I'm sure you have quite the interesting story. Do you care to share?
Siga will probably greet the little owl that's sitting on his head, though, first, and probably get a low chuckle of, like, hello, little one. And Siga would kind of pause for a moment. He would say, it's definitely a long story.
No Thanos references.
Why would you put me on the spot like this?
It was either you or Kira. So if it was 10 or higher, it was you, and if it was 10 or lower, it was Kira.
I mean,
And damn it, if
This is out of character, but
Oh,
Sega doesn't have to share if she's not. Or he's
Yeah.
not
No,
comfortable.
that's what I was exactly trying to think of. Yeah, Siga will probably say, maybe too long of a story for tonight, but we'll get to it at some point.
That is fair enough. Aldra is still staying on your head.
He'll probably chuckle. And because it's a snow owl, he'll probably try to, like, blow some cold air up on Aldra.
Aldra just like bristles. And you hear this little like beep beep.
Siga has a tender heart for any animal, so he's just chuckling.
What is...
Clover's gonna pack it in for the night.
All right. What is Flint doing at this moment?
I passed out dinner and I'm cleaning all the dishes.
Just chilling and listening?
Yep.
All right. What about Kakira?
We had story time.
Just
She
sat and
listened.
listened. All right. And Marsica?
Same Z's.
All right. So, who is going to keep first watch?
I can take it.
Calvio. All right. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Seven.
7.
I rolled a 1.
All right. Oh, dang. You rolled a 1? Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's 7 technically. That
Um,
dice is going into my dice jail.
Dice are down.
nice. Oh, man, you have an actual dice jail. That's awesome. So, as everybody goes to sleep, you hear the faint crackling of the fire, thinking about everything that has happened with you. Your watch goes by uneventfully. Say that again?
Can I do something since it's uneventful?
Of course.
Calvio and Aldra will walk over to the orc
Okay.
and sit in front of him. Is he awake?
He is awake. He is eyeing you as you walk
Oh.
over.
Pull his gag off of his mouth so he can speak.
What is the meaning of this?
Sit in front of him. I'll give him some of the leftover jerky that I have to eat.
He like ravenously eats that with. It's kind of almost a disgusting sight since he doesn't have his hands available to him, and like eats it in a few bites.
Aldra will flutter around his head and land on his shoulder.
He goes and makes like a little like ha kind of thing at it and tries to bite at
I
Ultras.
will tell Aldra that she should be careful, but to act kind. And Alter will kind of peep out of the way, and like on the as far away on his shoulder as she can get.
He can't reach. Sure.
Yeah. And I'll look at him and say, "Tell me about yourself."
Now, why would I do that?
Why wouldn't you?
Because you have me bound.
You
It's a
don't seem
point
to
of
have anything else
pride.
to do.
Make me a persuasion check.
Oh shit. Well, okay, Patrick, I'm going purple. It's your fault if I fuck this up.
What?
That's a crit. Okay, what's my
Nice!
persuasion? All right,
You're
26.
Nice. All right. All right.
Gave you good luck.
Patrick gave me good luck. 26.
That was all the luck I had left.
As
Best
as
thing that happened today, right there.
as you say, you seem to not have anything else to do. This feeling of dejection comes over him a little bit. If his shoulders could sink, they would. And he says, "My name is Trecklin. What do you want to know? Seems like I'm going off to my death anyways."
Anything you are willing to share.
What are you looking for? A bedtime story? My life?
If that is truly what you wish your last possible words to be, then sure. I just would like to know your story. My friends have convinced me as of late that living beings are living beings. You don't seem all that different than some of my friends, just on a different side. And I want to understand.
You know not what our people went through.
I would like to.
Our kind has stories saying that we've always grown from the Badlands. That once we were elves. But after that godforsaken calamity, it changed us. Ostracized, we found our own way, our own patrons. And now we seek to reclaim what is ours by any means necessary.
What was yours? What is it you seek?
Our place, our land. The place you now call Sanctuary Grove. Was once our home.
How does Luran feel about hearing this? Do I feel like he is like disgusted at this thought or notion?
He's intrigued. You get the sense of you get this nagging feeling that there's more to the story than what's being told.
Like from our friend, or
Oh no.
Uh-oh,
or not
both.
from our friend, from the orc?
From the orc. There's not. He's not telling everything, or either he doesn't know the whole story.
Is that what you want? Is that let's see this. Is that the story, or is that the story you want me to know?
That is the story I have been told.
Fair.
Gorlock will lead my people to salvation. Your races of the north will burn.
And would you wish what happened to you and your people on anyone else?
I wish them to feel our pain.
That wasn't the answer to my question. Would you wish what happened to you onto another people?
What happened to my people on another people?
Yes. Do you want another race to go through everything yours went through? Being dejected, losing their land, being changed, almost forgotten.
If it means we will survive.
You see, I think we are not so different. I think you feel, oh gosh, man, everybody's fucking leaving.
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
They all might have a roving blackout at the moment. We may have to take a break after this conversation.
Shit.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Feel that much
There's Logan.
like anyone, you want what's best for your people, and you wish to not be thrust into the corner like a small child, that you wish to be known, you and your people wish to have a place at the table. I can tell you now, you don't have to agree with everything else that's going on in the world. You don't even have to enjoy their company, but hate, suffering only promotes more hate and suffering. And while it may not be in your lifetime or your children's lifetime, you will find that what you are doing to these people will be done to you. And then you will be back in the same place that you were. And then you will be starting from scratch, from exactly where your people started. And it is a never-ending cycle. So if you truly want your people to reach the attainment that you want them to, you might seek another way. Otherwise, you will never get there.
He doesn't respond. He just groans. You get the sense that go ahead and make me an insight check.
It's the same dice. Shit. 16.
You get the sense that there is a strange mix of anger and contemplation. If he were not in bounds right now, he may very well have struck. Sort of deal. But there is a small degree of contemplation. So
I'll take out my canteen of water and give him some water. And then I'll say, I leave you to your thoughts. And then I put his gag back on.
All
and
right.
I will go wake up Clobar.
All right, Clobar's up.
Cool.
When I get to Clobar and wake him up, I'll ask him, what are the hobgoblins' intention for this prisoner?
Would Klobar know that?
The idea you would have is that if this is a prisoner of war, he would be kept in whatever prison they have and questioned, and there would be a very short trial determining his actions and try and get as many things that he did on the battlefield, and whether or not he had killed or attacked innocents is the big one. And if that is, it's almost certain that he would be put to the sword.
Klobar would tell Calvio first that he would have a fair trial, that the kinds of things that determined whether he lived or died would be, did he kill innocents? Did he have any sort of regret of it?
What do you feel should be done with this prisoner?
Excuse me. He says, well, there is a price for living without honor. However, I spoke to him the other night. I've attempted to get through to him. Perhaps if he is willing to cooperate and undo some of the damage that he's done, share with the Empire what the group's plans are, he may be able to erase some of those sins.
I just had quite the conversation with them.
He says, I know it is frustrating. The world is not so clean cut and just as we would like it to be.
You're
But
true. This is true.
Having him will help us get an audience with the council, which may help us save even more lives.
More importantly, I think we can save him.
Klobar
Or at
thinks
least
for a minute.
we have to try.
He says, well, we will do what we can, but you should get some sleep. The hardest part of our journey will be tomorrow.
Avio will put his hand on Klobar's shoulder and nod and say,
Which shoulder?
"The not fucked up one."
The not fucked up one?
Yes, I don't remember which side.
Well, I didn't ask you. Never mind.
The not metal one.
Well, he's wearing clothes. You can't tell.
I would know. Would I know?
Calvio
Would I
would
know,
probably
Aaron?
know. Make me an intelligence
Yeah, I
check.
would. God
If it's
damn it.
above 10, yes. If it's below 10, no.
Calvio doesn't fucking know. Okay. If it's above 10, it's the left. If it's below 10, it's the right. It's the left.
Dink.
I just kind of. Oh. Well, this is awkward. I tried. I'm going to bed. Then he walks past, kind of like looking at his hand, like stupid. And
So
goes
you're
to sleep.
walking away, kind of takes a little stick, and on his arm goes dink, da dink, dink, da dink, dink, dink. I'll be here all week.
Oh my god.
Calvio makes a
Clobar
very
is so
keen-
weird. I love it.
Calvio makes a very keen mental note that the left shoulder is the prosthetic one.
All right.
Your other left.
You're on the left.
Your other left. So,
Sorry. Sorry
no,
to
it's all
hijack
good.
the session, guys.
No worries. I am telling
I'll make
Kevin
a
and
perception
Patrick.
check.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Telling them to restart their computers, possibly.
Computers.
More like Compooper right now.
Saying that their
Oh, thank
Discord is
God. Dirty 20.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Nice. So it's getting a little bit later into the evening now. Getting close to midnight. Let me go over here, make sure there's nothing there. You see the 3 moons in the sky. One of them is full, and you can see them kind of at different points, and the one in the center is a full moon.
Wait, rewind. This world has 3 moons?
Yes.
This has never come up before.
Yeah, that's what I know it hasn't
I
come up,
didn't
so
know
I'm trying to describe
Well, it
that more
has
often.
now.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so
Are they all the same color?
they're not the same color. I have not come up with colors for yet, but that's a really good question. So
All right,
I don't.
we need distinguishing features of
So-
each moon.
We'll say
have
that they do. Let's see if I can find them.
There's the mozzarella moon, the cheddar moon, and
my God.
the
The
Colby Jack
provolone.
moon.
Oh, Colby
So-
Jack, that's better. Yep, I'm with Logan. Colby Jack.
No provolone.
Provolone.
Leave me provolone.
I just said that.
Oh no.
It's muted, but I couldn't tell. I can't tell. Can you guys hear me if I
Yeah.
yell on David's mic?
If you're talking louder, I can hear on David's mic.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
little
can
bit.
still hear you. So the moon's names are the one that is the medium-sized one is Wadis. The middle one, which is the biggest, is Fror, and this is the one that is full. And then the smallest one in the back is Boel.
And are any one of these visible during the day?
It's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes all are visible during the day faintly. Sometimes only one. So
intrigued on the astronomy of having 3 moons and what the fuck that does to a planet.
Man, the ocean must be a fucking shit show.
Right. Anyway, sorry.
you
Continue.
would know that there's not very much sea travel.
Oh, fuck. We'll get there.
So,
Next
anyways.
time on One Piece.
Oh my God.
Say that you've only seen
oh,
like 2
no.
episodes.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Wrong. We've been watching it.
I'm proud of you.
I'm made it
Sorry.
115, I think.
Dang,
I'm
Mike.
at like 800, 850.
What the fuck, man?
You made Michael raise his eyebrows. That's impressive. That. So, you see that the center moon, Fror, is full. And nearing the end of your watch, you see something rather strange off in the distance.
Strange like haha strange, or strange like I should wake everyone up strange?
Not haha, not sure if you should wake everybody up yet. Just like piqued your interest.
Okay.
A little on edge, yeah. Off in the distance, you see a faint blue glow. As this gets closer, what was your perception check?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So, what was I going to say? So, off in the distance, you see, as it gets closer, what seem to be silhouettes of people. Of hobgoblins in particular. You see some bugbears in the ranks, some goblins, but predominantly hobgoblin, and it's almost this spectral processional that is coming by.
Would I,
You cut out,
the
Logan.
bugbears and goblins were part of the hobgoblin armies?
They were a recent addition, actually. About 20 years ago, they started incorporating different bugbears and hobgoblin tribes and teaching them their ways.
Would I be able to make like either a history and arcana check to like try and determine if they were wearing armor from 20 years ago?
Of course.
So what would you prefer me roll?
History, please.
Okay. That is a 23.
Nice.
Nice. So you can see it from here. They're wearing armor from the most recent war with Andorra. And you see as they're continuing...
So these are ghosts.
Yeah. You see that they are continuing through the forest far off in the distance, and it's almost this processional that's moving.
Do they seem like they've noticed Klobar?
They haven't looked in your direction.
Klobar would, even if they're not watching him, he would kind of do like a hobgoblin sign of respect as they passed by, like a salute.
Okay. So they continue along, and the rest of the watches go by uneventfully. Morning, the sun rises, and we'll go ahead and take a break right there to allow people to get up, use the restroom, and then for Heaven and Patrick to try and figure out some stuff with the Discord because they're having technical difficulties at the moment. What do we want to do?
All here.
Stay here.
Let's just
Right
use
here.
this.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
whatever.
here on Zoom. Cool. So, going back to what we're doing here. Yay. So the rest of the night goes by. Heaven and Patrick, was there any of that you guys did not get?
All of it. Or the vast majority of it.
Well, yeah, a good majority of it.
Okay. Basically, there was some talking between Calvio and the orc. And basically trying to get some headway on getting him to be more open and not such a bloodlust sadistic bastard, basically. And then Klobar and Calvio had a conversation, which I can't really remember the finer points of right now because of all the things that were happening.
It was short. It was basically like, hey, we should save this dude. And Clobar was like, and then I went to sleep because I
And then you
accidentally
hit
put
my
hand
arm.
on his on his bad arm. Yeah.
And then we left off with Logan seeing a procession of ghosts through the forest.
Yep, Logan saw that.
So, yeah. Other than that, you watch as they walked off into the distance, and nothing else had changed for the night. So, the rest of the watches go by uneventfully. It is now the morning. And you would think that you would be able, so you guys can do a long rest. You would, right there. You guys are there now. Right? Yep. Okay. So, moving along, who is heading the pack?
Klobar.
All right. Klobar, go ahead and make me a perception check as well as Marsica.
$21.
5.
Oh no.
21.
21. Awesome. So, Marsica, Klobar, you're kind of on the trail. You have a one-track mind. You want to get home. You haven't been home in 10, 15 years, and you want to see it. So,
I want to see my mommy.
yeah. Marsica, however, is very alert, very on edge, and you see him before he says anything. You see a figure coming out of the brush, and in the distance in Goblinoid, you hear, Clobar understands. Oh, by the Scorched! I didn't think I'd run into you lot again.
Would Klobar recognize that voice?
It's Loban. Marsica would see Loban before hearing that, and you would recognize that this is...
Okay, so I'll put my hand on. I'm just like, as soon as I saw him, basically, I was like, and like grabbed Clovar's shoulder and was like, pointed over to him.
Which shoulder did you grab?
The not bad one.
Which one, though?
Which one, right or left?
Man, I feel like this conversation's happened once before tonight. I definitely didn't fuck this one up just like 10 minutes ago.
Right or left?
Roll a d20. If it's above 10, it's the left. If it's 11 or up, it's left. If it's 10 or below, it's right.
Left.
Dink.
Wow.
Dink.
Wow.
Klobar
She'll be like,
looks
sorry.
up and says, Loban, it's good to see you again.
No, I'm not sure if I can say the same for you. You left my men heading down into that ruin. I had to go down and clean up that mess.
I told you that it was guarded.
You didn't tell them how to get past it.
You said they were elite warriors. I assumed that they had it covered.
I barely got out of there alive.
Klobar says, if you would like, you can have my arm. And holds up his left arm, if that will appease your honor.
As much as I'd like to take it, it is dishonorable to take. What brings you here? Why are you in our land?
Klobar says, this is my home too.
It is, but is it that it is not theirs?
Klobar says, I am invoking my right as a citizen of Zal that these fellows are honorable and just.
You're not at the gates yet. You don't need to say that to me. I'm leaving anyways.
Klobar says, just so you know. However, and he motions over towards the orc. I have brought a tribute to the council.
Looks like a pretty one at that.
He was the warmonger of a camp of over 200 orcs.
Good prize, then.
You
think he'll be put to the sword after his trial?
I think so. His lot has slaughtered the innocent. Klobar says, the council has an opportunity. He says, the orc horde will be moving up the southern bank south of Ubask. We could flank them and achieve a mighty victory.
You might be able to convince the populace into another battle, but the eyes have been rather passive of late. Not sure why.
Klobar says, we have sharpened our swords for the last 20 years. This is the battle that we've been waiting for.
If you can convince them, possibly, but working with those Andorrans, as you are suggesting, would leave a sour taste in some mouths.
He says, We do not have to see it as working with the Andorans. That that southern patch of land is only vaguely theirs. That should belong to us. Everything south of the Frogon should belong to us.
I would agree with you, but...
He says, if we could secure that victory, we have a stronger platform with which to secure our right to that land.
Well, I've been called elsewhere. I would offer my aid. But I'm making my way to the sinking country. When you go back to Ubask, do not tell them you've seen me.
Clobar nods.
Will you stand on the level with me?
What does that mean?
Will you be truthful with him? And will you abide by his wish?
Clobar sticks his hand out for the little elbow shake and looks Lobon straight in the eyes and says, I will stand level with you.
And he grabs your arm. Nods and says, I must be on my way. Anything...
Just for my amusement, is Lobon or Klobar taller?
How tall is Klobar?
Give me a second because I do have that written down. He's pretty tall.
Yeah, because everybody in our party except for David and Patrick,
yeah, you all you tall fuckers,
or taller. Oh, and Flint.
Arisika's part
You
dragon.
had to freaking ask me this at the worst dang moment where I have to find it.
Well, how tall is Lobon?
Lobon is 5'5", 5'6" in that range.
No, Klobar is 6'5".
Oh, Klobar's taller.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Klobar's pretty
Calvio's
tall.
gonna lean over to Kakira and say to her, "They're not really standing level if he's 2 feet taller than him. Maybe that's just me."
I feel like Sika's gonna hear this and reach around with his tail and smack you on the back of the head and be like, shut up.
Kakira's just gonna chuckle.
Klobar is going to look back at the Honorbound and says, come, we must be on our way. He says, Lobon, one more thing. I happened to see a spectral procession out here the other night. Have you seen it?
Well, I have not seen it personally, but the folk that make their homes out in the sticks claim to see such things since the war.
That's what I thought.
So, I will be on my way. How close are we to the contested land?
The contested
Not been
land?
keeping track. The south of the Fragon that is contested between Andorra and the Zalt Empire.
It's about a day's travel from us, right?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, it's about a day's away.
Good to know.
Klobar says, care that you don't stray too close to the orc encampment. We have wounded them, but we have provoked an angry hornet's nest, so it's likely that they will be out patrolling.
Good to know. I appreciate the heads up. Try not to send anybody else into ruins. I am rather peeved by that still, but you did me an unknown favor.
Klobar would say, well, then let's leave it at that. You have your business, I'm sure.
I do. And you watch as he puts his hand on his saber at his side and begins to walk away. and head in the direction you guys came from.
All right. So we're gonna keep going unless anybody wants to say something.
Off we
Good
go.
to go. Okay. So the rest of the day goes by rather uneventfully. Klobar would know that you are nearing the edge of the city moving forward. Is there anything you would like to say or do before we enter this sequence?
Klobar would turn around and again remind the group not to do anything dumb.
Is he looking at me?
He's not looking at anybody in particular. He's just kind of like, please don't get us all killed.
So,
Siga's gonna make sure, by the way, to be like cloaked
okay.
because big city and dragon.
Sounds good. Siga is cloaked. Anything else from anybody? Kakira?
Will also be disguised.
Okay.
Martha
telling
will
me
be
it's-
watching body language.
All right.
If she
So,
wants to fight, she'll fight.
Are you
Be
telling
ready.
me that you don't want to walk around and drag? And
oh my
What?
God. Boo.
Boo. Boo.
Inspiration.
Oh my God.
de-inspiration.
Take away inspiration.
So, moving forward, as you make your way down the winding forest path into the edge of the city, you begin to pass small neighborhoods nestled in the outlying forest. Bystanders have begun to take notice and watch you approach. A few have rushed on ahead, seemingly to signal your arrival. Not long passes before you see the watchtower that signals the true border of the city proper. Here, you already see that a small battalion of warriors and Ankis, which are the guard of Ubask, have been stationed to meet you. There are 10 Ankis and 10 soldiers. In their ranks, you see a few bugbears. As you walk closer, they stand at attention, eyeing you. Walking a little bit closer, you hear the cry of some terrible creature from above. And slamming into the ground before you is a wyvern with a hobgoblin atop it. From behind the helmet, you hear it bellow in common. The only reason we do not cut you down where you stand is that you have one of our kin with you. Now, why are you here? And then it turns towards Klobar and says, why have you brought these interlopers to our city?
In Goblin, Klovar responds, I invoke my right as a citizen of Zal, claiming that these fellows are honorable and just. They will follow our laws, or their punishment will be spread equally among us.
You see kind of like this hushed whisper between the soldiers, and one of the sergeants kind of snaps everybody back to attention, and he said, the helmed figure says to you, what is your business?
Klobar, he's not even sweating. He has been waiting for this moment. He turns up and says, I am Klobar, son of Vorkath. I bring with me these warriors, the Honorbound, who have helped me claim this prize, and he motions towards the captive orc, a warmonger of the orc hordes, to present to the Eyes of White.
Your right as a citizen of Zal is recognized. You will be accompanied to Castle Basque. Logan, or Klobar, make me a perception check. Or, yeah, make me a perception check.
Okay. This is not something good.
Marsica, make me an insight check since you said you were doing that. What do we got? 4. Okay.
Oof.
Clover's really focusing on
21.
Focusing on, like, not dying.
looking tough.
All right. Marsica, you sense that this figure that has been addressing you all, and primarily Klobar, though he exudes an aura of authority, there is a sense of being taken aback. He's uneased for some reason.
Which one's on east again?
The helmed figure on top of the wyvern.
Interesting.
Would Klobar have recognized the voice?
No.
Marsica's gonna, like, kind of do a whisper to Klobar and be like, and basically tell him that the guy is, like, uncomfortable.
Klobar turns to her and says, "It has been 15 years, and it is very unusual to bring a group of your lot here."
Okay. Continue doing your thing, man. I don't know.
All right. As some of the soldiers are dismissed, the figure on the wyvern, you feel this heavy wind as he kind of rears back, and it beats its wings, taking off into the air. A captain approaches you and says, "If you consider these fellows to be of honor, they may be scrutinized as well. Perhaps they may become clan friends. You have quite a reputation." And says, "Until then, though, you will be traveling with an escort. You will be watched."
Klobar says, "Oh, sorry, go ahead."
No, go for it.
Klobar says, "Yes, that is just."
You watch as the Ankees break ranks. A couple of them funnel back up into the tower to keep watch, and they go back to their regular patrols. There is a contingent of 5 soldiers that are accompanying you around the city. 3 hobgoblins and 2 bugbears. The fellow who had just spoken with you is the captain that is accompanying you, and he has introduced his name as Rakan.
Tell me, Rakan, is Vorkath still around? Does he still trek the capital? Vorkath, my father.
He and his wife have taken residence in one of the outlying villages in the forest, seeking a quiet life.
He nods. He says, "Thank you."
You are the son of Vorkath?
He says, "Yes."
Strong tradition of generals in your family.
He nods. He says, At one time.
Says, "Thought I recognized you." And keeps walking. So, unless there's anything in particular you guys want to see around the city, they will escort you directly to Castle Basque.
Cool.
To the castle.
As you're walking, you see several notable buildings. One of them seems to be a very nice bathhouse of such at the foot of the castle. In Goblin, and I'm assuming
Would need to use the restroom after that wyvern encounter.
Can you say that again? I'm gonna make sure I heard that right.
I said Flint would need to use the restroom after that wyvern encounter.
So you can make your way, find a privy real quick. You are escorted the whole way, and then
While he's doing that, Calvio's gonna like look at Kira and just be like, "We need to get one of those."
Kira's gonna lean back and say, "We had quite the welcome party."
That was a party to you?
So, in all of the lettering is written in Goblin, but I'm assuming that Klobar will disseminate the information as I say this, like if people are asking, so we don't have to go through that a bit.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet? So, passing this bathhouse at the foot of the castle, you would know that this is called the Hurion Bathhouse. And Klobar, this is an institution of the city, and it's often jokingly referred to as U-Bath.
I fucking love it. That's incredible.
So
Good job, Aaron.
Props to that one.
So proud.
I may have had some help, but anyways, this is run by a shrewd hobgoblin woman who was retired from the military, and she now goes by Mistress Uniba. And that's what Klobar would remember passing that.
It should have been called "You bath, you bathe, you shower."
Is this
Oh
like
my God.
When you say bathhouse, do you mean like just a bathhouse at face value, or are you talking about like a happy ending kind of?
No, not. I mean,
Bathhouse?
no.
Or bathhouse.
Oh my God.
Like
I mean,
Spirited Away kind of bathhouse.
I wasn't intending for that. I was going for kind of the Spirited Away vibe with it, but yeah, but not like the other thing.
Okay, so it's not like you can't pick up a nice looking hobgoblin woman.
No.
Okay.
You could try.
All right, I just wanted to
I
make
mean,
sure.
that is not what my intention was. What you try to.
We do have a
Klobar wants
bard
lady.
in the party.
You do have a
And
bard.
he hasn't tried to pick anybody up yet. And of course, Klobar wants to wingman him.
His love is food.
But
He doesn't want to
anyways.
deal with it if she doesn't have nice buns.
Oh my God. Why do you do this? So, anyways, you would know that there is no other inn in Ubask, as this is kind of like a resort getaway, and most people that travel here, they don't get travelers. And most people that do travel here are from Kaizaj or other hobgoblin towns, and they have family that they stay with.
Now, is his parents' house too far away to reasonably stay there?
It's not too far away. It'd probably be like an hour's out of town. You would, at most, an hour's trek into the woods. If pointed in the right direction. At most.
Into the
Okay.
woods.
Because he was kind of hoping to go see his parents.
Definitely. That can definitely be arranged. So, but as for the time, after everybody has gone through their business after the wyvern, they begin to escort you up the side of the cliff face, through the path, into Castle Bask. Where is that? So, these... let's pull up my description here. So, heading up this, you see this grand castle before you of I should probably actually switch the map so that you guys can see what I'm describing.
That'd be nice.
That might be helpful.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
Find
Oh
the
no,
map,
my mouse.
find
My
the
mouse
map,
disappeared
find the
again.
map, find the
Uh-oh.
map, find the map.
Oh boy.
Today has just been fraught with technical difficulties.
Okay. I can kind of see it. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna unplug my mouse and plug it back in. I'll be right back.
David,
Yay,
that's great.
technical difficulties.
Oh. I blame the weather for the technical difficulties. Now we can't hear him. Why can't we
I
hear
can't
it?
hear David.
Apparently,
Oh,
I
I
just
can
need to be
hear you.
angry to tell good jokes.
I can't hear Aber.
I can't hear him either.
Can you hear me
He's
now?
unplugging his mouse, not his
Good.
microphone.
I can hear David.
Oh, good.
Can't hear Aber. But can Aber hear us?
I think so.
Hello?
Based on his
Can you
face
hear me?
faces.
Okay, bye.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to go to the bathroom real fast.
Okay, bye.
Take Flint with you.
Can't hear you.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
What? I don't know. I don't know.
Double check Zoom set on the right
Time to
mic.
move to Facebook because
Everything's failing us today.
Go back to Discord. We'll just keep jumping back and forth.
D&D with friends across the country is great until technology fails.
There we go.
yeah.
Holy
I can
crap.
Hey.
Hey, we got him.
I don't know.
Yay.
That's so weird. It's like I unplugged my mouse and plugged it back in, and then my audio decided to stop working. That's really strange.
Yeah. I was like, I
Anyways.
thought it was just mouse.
So, oh wait, why didn't it switch panels on this one?
Technology said "fuck you." That's why.
Yeah,
Apparently
apparently.
saying that to all of us tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Garrick.
Wait, have David and Courtney
Knock
had
on wood.
EDs yet?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Keep that shit to yourself.
You're next.
Everybody's had
knocking
some
over here.
sort of technical difficulty, except for them.
Don't need my day to get any worse.
There
Okay?
we go. All right, there we go. So this is Ubask.
It still hasn't updated.
Map is unchanged.
It looks like the Kingdom of Andorra to me.
What?
Shocking how similar they are.
Restart your
It looks
Roll20.
like the kingdom
Mine's
of
still the-
nothing to me because there's
Yeah,
nothing
mine's
there.
still the map. Like what? Okay,
Oh,
gonna
I'm
refresh
dumb.
it.
I'm dumb. There we go. Now I fixed it.
I see
Oh.
it.
I'm
Oh,
coming
it's
back.
pixely. Oh, it's pixely. Come on, load. There
It'll
it
come
goes.
back.
Ta-da! I see it
3.
now.
Yeah.
Wow.
One.
Is
Nice
the
switch.
bathhouse on this one?
Yes,
Where's the bathhouse?
the
Oh,
bathhouse.
wow.
I forgot to put a key, but the bathhouse is right here
I mean, it's the
at
big
the
red
foot.
one.
That one right
Oh.
there.
Ah.
Not the big red one.
Yeah. Or sorry.
Green one.
Which we have renamed
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
David apparently renamed.
So
I think
go
it's
ahead and
perfect.
clear that. Oh gosh, I can't clear it on this one. So. All right. So, as you are walking up the path, one of the first things you notice are the beautiful cherry blossoms that cover the grounds of the castle. Heading in, it is made of immaculate granite. And before you, in this central chamber, is 8. Let me go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 chairs, with the center one being empty, and different hobgoblins in the outlying chairs.
Does this room have like an audience besides them, or is it just the 7 of them?
It is
And the guards.
It is just the 7 of them, the guards, and off to the right you see a table with several chairs around it and a map on it, but nothing. Nobody is sitting at that table yet.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
As we approach, Klobar is going to bow.
Calvia will bow as well.
Yeah, make it apparent to the rest of the group that they should bow as well.
Along with.
Okay.
Very deeply.
Anybody not bowing?
I will bow as much as my body allows me to.
Is Marsica not gonna bow?
No. I'm bowing.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, you could do whatever you want, man.
I don't see why she wouldn't bow, so she's gonna bow.
Gonna bow in this situation.
Look it up for all
How
of
long
us.
have we been walking today?
Quite a while. This is now evening at this point.
All right, so Flint is probably very out of breath and probably very sweaty at this point, especially after that wyvern incident and then being in this town.
We should have taken a stop to the bathhouse.
Like when he does a
need
little
another
bow, like a
floating
couple
disc.
of drops of sweat like come off his nose and like hit the ground.
I need another floating disc.
Yeah. So, as you all approach, let's go ahead and switch here. Is this what I wanted?
Oh, I know what I'm missing.
Go with this one. So, as you all bow, the hobgoblin closest to the center approaches and stands at the edge of the platform and says, "Rise. I am Austin, son of Morcar. What is your purpose here? You are all here. You all may speak. Hopefully our citizen has explained the etiquette."
Klobar rises and says, Honorable Council, I am Klobar, son of Vorkoth. We bring to you today, and he motions backwards and kind of gets the group to push this orc forward.
So, is the orc on the disc, or is the orc not on the disc?
The orc would be on the disc at this point, I would say.
Okay, so I have to physically walk forward for the disc to move.
I assume he would ask you to like pull him off the disc.
Okay, so I'll pull him off the disc and stop concentrating on the disc and push him forward.
One second. Okay, Klobar would say, "We have brought to you this tribute. This leader of the Orc Horde from their war camp to the southeast. He commanded over 200 orcs, including a battalion of ogres and Taunaruks."
So, the Red Eye has completed its rituals. What do you ask of us, Clobar? Why bring him here? Why not kill him, giving him an honorable death on the battlefield?
Clobar says, "This fiend deserves no honor. I have watched the innocents that he has slaughtered."
You watch as one of the counselors stands up from his chair at this point, his white kimono almost like glistening off of the torchlight in here, and he says, "Interesting phrase for someone who has been away from home for so long."
Clobar takes a beat and says, "I understand that my absence is not a favorable mark. However, I ask that you hear the true events that transpired that day."
Another member rises, and she says, "We would appreciate it from your perspective."
At this point, Clobar kind of opens his robes and shows them his fake arm.
Work.
He says, "Our battle was a valorous one, but a losing one. After I ordered the retreat, my brothers in arms saw me take this injury and left me for dead." He says, "I spent several days in the wilderness, between the brink of death, teetering between death and life." He says, "Those brothers in arms lacked honor. However, it was made up for. An elven man, just as I was at the end of my life, saved me, returned me to health, and I spent the next 10 years training with him to become an even stronger warrior than I was before." He says, "The debt that I owe that elf is not one that I can repay at this time or ever. However, his kindness convinced me that we can and should give the other citizens of this realm pause for consideration."
Another member stands up and says, "Though my fellow eyes would disagree with me in some things, we have foreseen a change coming. Perhaps you speak true, but we must root out the dishonor in our society as it stands. Who were those that left you?"
Clobar would then, let's see here, let me pull up the list. Clobar would say, "Accompanying me that day were Borgon." And do I need to say their
No.
like son of
No.
Okay, Borgon, Kazkor, Morgoth, and Zoran.
The speaker, the one who first introduces himself, says, Those are serious accusations. And then the first woman you heard says, but that could explain why Morgoth committed suicide. We will seek out the others. Bring them before us. What do you ask of us now?
Klobar pauses and says, I bring before you an opportunity.
I sense something dangerously close to treason about to come from your mouth.
Would Klobar know if him suggesting this was treason?
It's not treason, but it's pushing the envelope.
Klobar says, the orc horde is marching to our southeast. From what this, and he kind of elbows the orc next to him. From what this one has said, they're simultaneously, there is a chance they are simultaneously planning an attack on Ubask. I am suggesting that we consider cutting them off before they are able to make that strike.
That is close to Andoran land, if not on it, according to them.
Klobar says, that land is disputed, and he says, I have stood before the Andoran regent and asserted the same thing. The regent left control of that land, the protection of that land, up to to these figures, these Honorbound that you see with me, as well as myself. He says, were we to strike and destroy, root out this orc menace, root and stem, they would be hard pressed to deny us the land south of the Frogon that rightfully belongs to us.
Another member rises and says, now what if we take that land? What about their pass into the Badlands? They have some sort of settlement, I believe that was recently sacked, on the other side of the mountain range.
Klobar says, there is nothing left of that civilization. He says, kind of to the whole council, he says, I spoke to several of the refugees from that town who witnessed unspeakable horrors. A small girl watched her own father cut down, an innocent, left alone in this world. At what part did it cut out?
There we go. It cut out when you were, I don't remember the
basically he talked about talking to the refugees from Gorlin, and specifically he emphasized the fact that he talked to this orphan girl who watched her father as well as other innocents of the town slaughtered for no reason other than bloodlust.
Alvio is visibly like clenching his fists and trembling, hearing this, out of sheer anger. Not at Klobar, but just at the situation, since that's his home.
Yeah. So, noticing that, the woman that spoke that seemed to be the friendliest, and she says, "What is your name? You with cloak and daggers."
Calvio walks forward, gives a slight bow again, and says, "Counselor, my name is Calvio Venenarius. This village my friend Clovar speaks of is my home. Was my home.
As an Andorran citizen, how would you feel if those of our empire came to aid?
I look at Clobar for a second and say, while looking at Clobar, without him, I would not be standing here before you. I owe him a debt that I cannot repay. And I trust what he thinks is best. So, I trust his people.
Can you all say that? If we came to, after the tumult our people have had with the Andorrans, can those of you who call Andorra your home accept our aid?
Calvio pauses for a moment and not like a long time ponders, but thinks on that and says, I cannot speak for my countrymen, but I know that we are not so different. I know that the people that I have interacted with and spoke with just want peace. And I would be willing to do what I can to help promote that.
They then turn. It's one of the other women on the council speaks up and looks at Flint and says, "You, whose crest hails from Bulbuldeer, why are you here?"
I know where Boulder Deer is.
Bulbuldeer is one of the ancestral home of the dwarves.
Okay. I kind of just look up from eating a wheel of cheese. And I'm just like, counselors, I am Flint Fireforge. I'm from Andorra. I do not hail from the home of the dwarves. I was adopted in Andorra from a craftsman, and I believe from our standing, we have a lot to learn from each other. Your architecture is astounding, to say the least, and I think that I would love to spend time among your people to learn from you.
You would forgive us if we are suspicious of some claims. You ask us to aid in this fight. This is Austin speaking again.
Okay.
And he says, we look to regain our former glory. How can we do this if we aid nations with mixed honor, with lesser ideals that are weak?
Would Klobar know what specifically they feel is weak about Andorra?
I mean, there's just the general fact that you would know that one hobgoblin soldier is worth probably about 20 Andorran soldiers, human soldiers. It's just their military prowess is not as good as the hobgoblins. But the reason why it ended in a stalemate of the war is that there is just an innumerable amount more Andorrans than there are hobgoblins.
I need to think. Somebody say something smart. Give Klobar a second to think.
My thing's not working.
David's trying. David, what do you want to say?
It broke.
Do you want to take my headset for a second?
Yes.
There's a technical
Can you hear me?
difficulty.
Is it muted? Can you
No,
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Calvio, hearing this, would say it is not the example set by the many that matters. It's the example set by the honorable few that is more important.
Klobar adds on to that, and if we watch the innocent be slaughtered, it does not add to our honor. It only diminishes it.
Calvio, go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh shit! Oh, that's the advantage. You said persuasion.
Persuasion.
Oh, sorry. Oh, not that one. Thank you,
Oh.
advantage. Okay, I'll take that one. 18.
18.
12 plus 6, baby.
Nice. They all sit and deliberate for a moment. One fellow who hasn't said anything yet stands from his chair and says, I am Cloran, son of Baptiste. Why do you wear cowls in our presence? If you cannot trust us to see your faces, then how can we trust you that we will not be stabbed in the back on the battlefield?
Calvio takes his hood down and looks back at Kikira and Siga and just kind of shrugs in a we have nothing to lose kind of way, and then turns around.
Before Siga can, before Siga and Kikira can remove their cowls, you hear from the friendly woman, and she says, "It is all right, Dragonkin. And I believe your people are called Aarakocra?" You guys can make me perception checks if you want.
Busted.
Just the two of them or all of us?
Those two, since they're being singled out.
Okay.
Is this with advantage for me?
Yeah, because you have the goggles on.
Wear the goggles?
The Google?
That's
Google
a fashion
Glass.
statement.
Eat all of my dice. 11.
Okay.
That's with advantage and a +5.
Oh no. It's terrible.
Sika didn't pick up on too much, so
What do we got?
7.
7? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. And do you remove your hoods?
Sika definitely would. Sika would bow. Hold on, let me talk first. Sika's gonna bow and then remove his hood as he's smiling, and he'll just kind of let out a grin.
The same woman says, "Your kind hasn't been seen in a very long time."
Sika will say, "I've never seen anyone quite like me."
That's honestly good.
Sika will say, "Maybe we should chat
It's-
one day."
And she says, "It is concerning that one of the dragon blood walks the land again." And that is all she says regarding that. Regarding Kakira, she says, "You are a long way from home." What brings you to this motley crew, and how did you meet our esteemed general here?
I'm on a quest from the Zionist. I can't remember how to say it. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Zionist? Okay. I'm on a quest from the Zionists for knowledge and artifacts. And I ran into him in Andorra on my way through.
Interesting. And then another one introduces himself, rising and says, "I'm Connell, son of kin." And he turns towards Marsica, and he says, "I see that bow. I see that bow. What is your aim?"
Continuing with the puns, huh?
Hey, the line, Bart.
What is my aim?
See my
Good.
mouth?
Is my aim.
But wasn't that one of the questions that was at the altar of the tree?
No, I don't think so. I'm looking for that right now. I think I wrote something in a different spot. Ah, there it is. No, that was not.
Mm-mm.
That was not a part of the oath or anything.
Do you say good?
I said good. Yes, my aim is good.
I've not known many wood elves to have humor. Let me rephrase. Where do you wish your arrow to strike in the end? What is your goal? What do you want from this? Why are you here?
I want peace, I suppose. My family, my home has been attacked by the orcs time and time again. I've grown up fighting the orcs. It would be nice to experience peace.
You want peace, though you, I see of all, know that in order to better oneself, you need a whetstone.
A whetstone?
A whetstone. A W-H-E-T. It's a stone
sharpening
that's
stone.
used. Yeah, it's a stone that's used to sharpen blades.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
You of all people would know that we need a whetstone to hone ourselves.
Okay. What's your point here?
Why strive for peace when conflict is what brings out the best?
This conflict also brings out the worst.
Bobar says, Counselor, if I may.
You may speak.
The whetstone are the unjust and the wicked. We sharpen our blades that the darkness never be cast upon our cities. It is to protect honor with which we sharpen our blades.
Another one speaks, saying, Clobar, you would recognize this as Pi Yin. And she says, maybe they have a certain logic. We've been waiting for the right battle. All of us have sensed something is coming. Maybe this is the first step. Maybe it is time to set aside old grievances.
Could Klobar continue?
Of course. You can say, you can interject.
He doesn't want to interrupt her. He just wants to respond to what she said.
Sure, you have time.
Klobar says, what you say is true. The Honorbound and myself have seen it. A great evil is coming. The orcs simply are riding upon that wave. However, there is something far more sinister beneath the surface.
The speaker of the council says, you kind of see him contemplate for a moment, and he says, more and more chains I see. He turns towards the others and says, you know our role. We cannot make a complete decision without a Steel Strider. And we do not have any worthy candidates as of yet.
Klobar says, I will take the trials.
They laugh, almost in unison, and say, in time, we have our eye on you. Pi Yin will speak and says, You are one we've been watching for some time. Do not think your desires are unknown to us. But, though you have survived and traversed the land, gaining broader horizons, you have only begun to take the first steps to bringing those home. She then turns towards the council and says, "We can offer aid, but not a formal alliance. I suggest we offer a contingent of soldiers. Is that enough for you?
Would
One
Clover know if
battalion.
that was enough?
On foot, you wouldn't get there quickly. But on foot, a contingent of soldiers is probably is around 30, which is a pretty good amount for the hobgoblins.
Yeah, because you said that one hobgoblin is way more trained than an orc or a human.
Way more trained than a human. It's kind of like human, orc, hobgoblin. Right?
Okay.
So, and they kind of all nod and say like that. If you guys want to try and push for more, this is the time.
How much is a battalion?
30.
30 versus 200. I like those odds.
Better than 6.
I mean, this is out of character. What do y'all think?
So out of character.
Yeah.
How are we gonna get there?
Honestly, one or two wyverns plus these 30 soldiers. Those orcs might as well just fuck right off.
In that case,
Yeah.
Klobar can try and convince them to send one or two wyverns.
Yeah, and then that way we can get there early. I mean, just strategically.
Mhm.
That's
Klobar
way better.
says,
Bats, you know.
I would ask if you would be willing to also send 2 of your wyvern riders along.
You know how risky that is. That is asking a lot. Why would you need the wyverns?
He says, this is a matter of utmost importance because, he says, their target, the orc's target, is a powerful relic in the ruins of Fort Xeris. I do not know how much damage they will be able to unleash if they are able to unlock this relic. However, keeping them from claiming it is of utmost priority. He looks over at the orc. He says, "This figure," and he kind of produces the note with the intelligence of what he's supposed to do, and says, "This figure." Or this orc warmonger was ordered to secure this fort, this relic, at all costs by someone higher up.
For the wyverns, go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Okay. Is he rolling against my roll?
No. DC 15.
Okay, so it's... Oh, God. Okay. I can do this. I can do this. I can
Can
do
I
this.
help him? Give him advantage?
You said persuasion, right?
Persuasion.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a crit.
Nice. Hell yeah. They turn to each other, and there is a consensus that they will allow you to take 2 wyvern riders. They ask, they say, This is not enough to transport you each. But with the wyverns and our soldiers, they can move quickly. Get there within 2 days. Perhaps cut them off at the pass, from what you've described. If they get into Andoran land, though, undisputed, close to Horadine's hamlet, I am not sure that our soldiers would pursue.
Klobar nods and says, that is understandable and just. He says, the Andorans are under orders to not pursue conflict with your soldiers.
I will leave that up to the commander then. Very well. I am not sure where you have plans to stay this evening, but that is not the purview of this council. Klobar, son of Voristan, right?
Vorkath.
Vorkath, dang it. Sorry, that was somebody else that I wrote down. Klobar, son of Vorkath. We have our eyes on you and your Honorbound.
With that, Klobar would give another bow and say, thank you, Honorable Council of the Eyes of White.
And,
Calvio would bow as well.
And then they nod, go about their business. But hold on, there was something else that I wanted them.
Was anything going to happen with the guys that he named?
You get the sense that they kind of like motion to some guards and they're going and pulling people in, sort of deal. So,
what has become of our orc friend?
You watched as several guards had moved forward and took him into custody. So, the orc is alone?
As soon as I saw the orc get taken off that disc, I like hobbled over to it and climbed on.
Oh, so then you like climbed on and then immediately fell as soon as I stopped concentrating on it.
Tried.
Seeing this, the council kind of laughs and says, as you're beginning to make your way out, Piyin stops you all and turns her attention towards Siga and says, I did not mean to cause you alarm by saying it was concerning that one of the Dragonblood walks this land again. It could be a good omen.
Siga says, thank you, counselor. I definitely have many questions. And if one day we could chat.
The eyes only grant me certain visions. My knowledge is limited. But should you and your troop prove clan friends, then you would be welcome in these chambers.
Siga says, thank you, counselor, and bows very deeply to her.
And then she then again turns towards Kakira, and she will say, oh, where'd it go? She turns towards Kakira and says, you are on the right path. Keep your resolve. Find the guardian spark. And she goes back to conversing with the rest of the council, unless you have anything you want to say to her.
Is that a question for Kakira?
That was a question for Kakira.
Maybe not.
Okay.
I'm assuming Kakira would get the feeling that she can't tell me where that is.
You might. You don't know unless you ask.
Counselor, do you know where I could find the Guardian Spark?
I see dead trees for miles, and ruins of metal. It is housed in one of those ancient structures before the Flash.
Thank you, Counselor.
She nods. Anybody else have anything that they would like to say?
Does Luran have anything of importance on this one? Or is he pretty much along for the ride like I am?
Luran would pipe up at some point, like probably as you're leaving, and he would say something. He would say, "How's that for semi-clairvoyant guardians of a nation?"
Calvio would say to him, I don't know, they seem kind of uptight, but personable.
There's no response.
What's fucking new?
Clobar would say, "Come, if we move now, we may have some dinner left at my parents' house."
Calvio will start to hurry and then stop. And then you see Calvio sit down in the middle of the fucking road for a second. And then
the guards
10
are with
minutes later,
you, by the way, also.
Yeah, and then 10 minutes later, another disc pops up. And I look at Flint and say, "Get on."
And like almost cries as he like just nods at you and just like crawls
How
up
is the
on her.
guard reacting to all this?
The guard cannot keep his composure, and the captain is definitely laughing right now.
I mean, that's better than me turning into something.
Yeah.
Calvio sees this and says, "Hey, gotta take care of your friends."
I just like look over. I'm like, you may laugh now, but you'll respect my cooking later.
But is he cooking though? Because Clovar said his parents had food ready. So how will Flint feel about that when we get there? He can't cook dinner because it's already made.
That's an excellent point.
He can
He
make
will
dessert.
eat whatever is provided.
He can make
Off
dessert.
we go.
So, after asking around a little bit, the captain, it's the 5 guards have kind of dissipated, and it's just the captain following you now. You seem to have earned a certain degree of trust, but not enough to be completely alone in the city. You guys pass by the bathhouse again, and walking through the city, you see a couple more interesting things heading off. And asking around, they would point you to the direction of Vorkoth. In the direction of Vorkoth's home. And along the way, you hear the sounds of numerous hammers hitting anvils. Above you, you see a lone wyvern circling. Off to your right is 2 large stone spires, in which you see several wyverns perched and their riders out and about on platforms.
Fucking badass.
Was the captain there for that whole meeting?
Yes, he was. He was in the back.
Which one was it that you said committed suicide?
It was Morgoth.
Klobar says, so Morgoth took his own life.
Yes, he seemed to be burdened by something, but he refused to speak of it.
Klobar says, though I do not doubt what my comrades did was unjust, I would not wish that fate upon anyone.
He nods. He says, "That's a shame if what you say is true. Borgon is one of the up-and-coming smithies in the city now since he left the military."
He says, power... he says, Captain, you know this better than anyone in your position, but power has a way of bringing out the worst in people.
This is true. And as you continue through the town, you watch as a contingent of guards is heading into Strider's grounds, which is the large military complex. One contingent of guards is making their way into there. One contingent of guard is making their way into Stinger's Rest. And another one, as you pass, pulls a man out of a forge. And you see him catch your eye for a second, Klobar, and his eyes go wide.
Does he look like he's seen a ghost?
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's seen a ghost. Passing along, you still hear numerous amounts of anvils, and one forge of note is, as you pass, you see Austin's forge, and Klobar would know that him and his family have been in the forging tradition for many generations. He trained with his father and is generally regarded as the best smith in the city, which is a feat considering how many great forgers there are.
Klobar kind of pats Flint on the shoulder and says, you should meet him while we're here.
Oh no, is he frozen?
What?
I
couldn't hear anything for like a good 30-40 seconds.
Oh no! So, you guys just passed a forge, and the guy there is named Austin, and he's known as the best smith in the city. And
Okay.
Klobar just tapped you on the shoulder saying you should meet him at some point.
I presume now is out of the question then?
He says it is too late now. If we have time in the morning before we depart, we may be able to purchase weapons or something of the like from him.
I would love to speak with him, and if there is such a person, the master chef in the city.
Would
That
Klobar know
person-
if there's a master chef?
There would be a master chef, and they they make their work in the bathhouse. Like the best chef works at the bathhouse in the city.
You have to go to you bath, you bathe, you bang.
No. Oh my god.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But as things are moving throughout the city, you find your way out, and the guard, who I believe he's already introduced himself, but he introduces himself as Naristan, I think it was.
That's the captain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he said, Noristan says, So, up ahead, you will see your family's abode, and I will keep watch on the outside unless it is to your father's liking that I stay in. There will be a rotating guard.
Klobar nods and says, yes, that is just.
So, you are at the door of your parents' house.
Klobar knocks.
Now remind me that I think I have them written here, actually. Introduction, backstories.
Those are the names, in case you needed them.
Yes. Rakshai. Okay. So, you open the door and you see your mother. After 10, 15 long years standing before you. And she looks as if she's seen a ghost.
Klobar says,
She is speechless.
hello, Mother. It has been quite some time. May we join you for dinner?
She cuts you off and just comes in to hug you.
Klobar hugs her back.
Coming in hot.
Like, he hasn't hugged anyone in a long time. And he's kind of crying, like, he's very emotional.
There are definitely lots of tears from her end as well. And she's saying, where have you been? We thought you dead.
It's a sort of a long story. He gestures to his friend, to the Honorbound, and says, these are my friends.
Taking stock of you all, her first reaction is a little taken aback, not expecting to see non-hobgoblins traveling with him. And but that quickly passes, and she says, well, if you are with my son, I trust you. Come in, come in.
Klobar says, Mother, we have quite a tale to tell. We met with the Eyes of White today.
You met with the Eyes of White?
He says, yes, please, have a seat.
Yes.
Where is father?
He's out at the moment finishing up gathering firewood for the evening. Oh,
So, Klobar would sit down and tell her the story about how his comrades had left him, how that Zinlin had saved him, and his time spent as Zinlin's apprentice traveling the world. And he would kind of have filled in her in about some of the Honorbound's adventures.
And she is definitely, like, jaw open the entire time. And after she feels a bit more comfortable, she starts asking around about each of you, where you come from, if there's any stories you would like to share. So if there's anybody else who would like to say anything.
Wherever the food was being cooked, Flint made his way over to it, and he's just like sniffing it and waiting for his chance. And finally, when she's looking around, he's like, "What did you put in this? It smells heavenly."
She's like, "Well, I don't tell anybody, but..."
Pulls out his notebook and a little thing, and he's just like, "Go on."
It's like, it's an old family recipe.
He's just like, "Wait, is it okay if I write it down then? If not, then
only if you don't tell anybody. If it's for you, it's fine. Don't tell anybody."
Oh, it'll stay in this book and in my knowledge bank, and that's it.
Yeah. And she goes on to describe to you how she found a they have beasts of burden called kachun here, and it is one way of them preparing kachun.
Okay.
And so it's not it's not a magical recipe, sadly.
That's fine.
But she does tell you that she kind of leans in and says, "I also may don't tell anybody, but I also may have a small garden of dream leaf. Sprinkle it in a little bit in there."
Flint just like jaw drop, just eyebrows pop up, and he's just like, "Oh, really?" He just
Yes.
writes it down and just sits down and starts to like ponder over it.
Does that mean anything to Clobar Dreamleaf?
No, it wouldn't mean anything to Clobar. Unless, what would it be like herbalism? What is the equivalent of that? Yeah.
Maybe
I-
nature?
Medicine?
I mean,
Let's
it's an
do-
intelligence check.
Nature, it'd be really hard for Clobar.
Didn't I ask about the party
Marsica
event
would know.
before, and
Marsica
didn't know a
Marsica
little
talked.
bit?
Yeah, Marsica talked to Flint about it last session.
Oh, that's that same. Did I write that down?
Would I know?
No, no.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It doesn't grow anywhere near where you live.
It's
It
not
was
a
a,
medicine thing.
It'd be very hard. But
What we were looking at was like a variation of
the tea, yeah, but
Yeah.
the but
No,
you
it's
know it's
the-
based off of the plant itself.
Yeah.
A +8 to medicine.
I
Man,
don't
if only we
remember
had someone
what
in the
it
party
does,
who is really good at nature things. That sure would be nice.
I mean, Siga would also know since he grew up in that area, but he did speak with Marsica about it. So
Yeah, he asked the two of us, and Marcia
Sika
ended up
didn't
knowing
roll
more
well.
than I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clobar does make a point to say, Mother, I thought about it for a long time, and I've decided I'm going to petition the elders to take the trials. They told me that they have been watching me. I believe that they will, in time, allow me to take them.
she almost changes from her joyful mood to a more solemn one, and she says, "You know what happens to those who fail."
He says, I will not fail. He says, I have, until that time, until they allow me to take them, I will keep training. I will keep becoming stronger. I am already a good deal more powerful than your average hobgoblin soldier. However, I believe I still have more to learn.
She says, "Well, I know you've never really listened to me. You followed your own path. Just know I don't approve. I've already lost you once."
Clobar says, he kind of puts his hand on her wrinkly hand and says, I promise you, you will never lose me again, no matter how far away I am.
You better call home. Or
Call
at least
home.
send letters is what she meant to say. Yeah. Better
He's,
send letters.
I just like
He
look
says-
up. I'm like, hard to get lost in the woods with a wood elf.
He says, I am working on a spell that will allow me to contact you from the other side of the world. I will be sure to use it whenever possible.
Good. And it's at this point that Vorkoth walks in. And he immediately drops the bundle of firewood, has a very similar reaction, though he seems a bit, after a while, after you get him up to speed as well, he seems a bit more standoffish. Like there's something bugging him. But they do say that the lot of you are welcome to stay at their abode for the night.
Cool.
You would hear, speeding things along a little bit since it's getting late, you would hear talking, your parents would say that there are a few interesting things going on about town. One of them is that you know that the law is strict here, and if anybody steals, it is a lost hand sort of deal. And there have been reports of smithing equipment going missing in the night. There have been reports of also weapons going missing in the middle of the night without any sort of trace.
Would Klobar have told them about seeing what's-his-face getting pulled from the forge?
Oh, if you wanted to, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he would have told them
Regaled
about
all of that.
who was in that group that left him to die, and he would have told them that though he did feel like what Morgoth did was unjust, that taking his own life seemed like a dishonorable way to die, and that he wouldn't wish that upon anyone.
You would know that it's the equivalent of like seppuku is what he would have done, sort of deal. So it was a way out to try and regain some lost honor. It was like a ritualistic sort of
okay. See, I thought it was
deal.
like a private...
Yeah, I didn't explain that well.
Okay.
That's my fault.
But Klobar would have said, the fact that he had gotten that far high up in the forge as someone, who had done something so dishonorable that was suspect.
They said, well, it seemed like after the war he kind of led a quiet life. If he was behind that, he didn't let anything on. Logan, go ahead and make me a history check.
Alright. I'm gonna do that. That is a 26. Can you tell me if that's a fail?
Oh, God. A 26? No, that is not a fail.
Okay.
Man, I know you keep wanting to use that ability, but you're rolling really well this session.
My perception checks.
Not the perception checks.
Awful.
Yeah. But you get the sense from what they're talking about, they didn't spend a whole lot of time in the higher ups of the military. Your father sort of.
His dad was a general.
You're like there. You have a line of generals, but not necessarily your father. Like he probably got in and did his time and got out. He seems happy as a woodsman, sort of deal. But you get the sense that with things disappearing like this, it has something to do with a shadow. One of the hobgoblin assassin ranks.
Why is there any particular reason why I would get that impression?
There's no trace, no footsteps. There's absolutely no evidence that's left behind. Just things are missing.
Do my parents know about the shadow, or is that just kind of like knowledge
that's
only Klobar
that's only knowledge Klobar would have?
Would Klobar have any reason to think or understand why they would do something like that?
Not without more information.
Would he know who to talk to about that?
You could start asking around and getting things, but
Well, if they're like a secret organization, like
they're not necessary. They're like secret within the military. Like they're used to take out high-profile military targets. Right,
Okay.
trying to like cut the head off of the snake. But anyways, with that bit of information, we'll go ahead and call it there.
Cool.
But woo! Awesome. We good to pick up next week on Thursday?
Yeah.
Awesome.
To my knowledge.
So like, is this house
See.
big enough to house all of us in there, or
It's
like,
it's a
camping
tight
outside?
It's a tight fit, but you can all fit. Like people are going to be sleeping on the floor, but it's better sleeping on the floor, a wooden floor, than a rock and dirt floor.
All right.
Right.
got free food out of it.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and a rest.
So-
That's true.
I think the meeting with the council went about as good as it could have gone.
Yeah, that went really well.
Yay!
All right, guys.
All right, I'll talk to you later, man.